You texted as you're walking over, which car am I looking for? To which I said, it's the black Mazda in front with the lights on and the microphones.
Right.
Your choices were pretty slim on that.
Yeah, it was kind of a dumb question because as soon as you come up, you can't miss it.
Yeah, it's lit up like the 4th of July.
It's car con carne. Let's meet in the car. It's car con carne. And now here's the star of our show, James Van Alstyne.
This is Car Con Carne. It's a Q101 podcast. I'm James Van Alstyne. Car Con Carne, sponsored by Easy Automation, easy-automation.net. It's a new year. Time to give your home an overhaul. Time to turn that dumb home into a smart home. Transform your living space with cutting-edge home automation. Experience seamless control over audio, video, climate, security, lighting, everything. Embrace the future of smart living. It's your home, your rules, motherfucker. Get a quote, a free, hassle-free quote from my friend Dan. Give him a call at 630-730-3728 or go to his website, easy-automation.net. It's my car, it's my rules, motherfucker. To my right, he is Dan Hart from Dyslexicon. And to paraphrase what has been said about Dyslexicon on the vast World Wide Web, Dyslexicon is the soul-searching and emotionally driven creative outlet of multi-instrumentalist Dan Hart. That's you. The band is metal, it's punk, it's prog, it's fucking cool. The second Dyslexicon album, Dracula at Sea, just came out, and it'll be the focus of an album release show at the beloved Beat Kitchen on February 26th. We're in front of the beloved Burlington, not where you're playing, but it was convenient for you. So we're parked in front of Burlington on Fullerton. Mm-hmm. Dan, lovely to see you. We've never met. This is our first time meeting. I brought donuts, by the way, because we're not at a restaurant. I got chocolate frosted and old fashioned. I figured I was going to go conservative. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you have any weird.
Absolutely none. What I like donuts. For some reason I do like. The strawberry frosted ones are always my favorite.
I do like the strawberry frosted. I like the sprinkles too, but I didn't want to be presumptuous, and I didn't know if you were one of those artisanal donut fans. You know, those donuts that are like a 16-inch softball with like Nutella and jelly and cream cheese. And
I mean, I'm not gonna say no to that, but I'm not better than Dunkin' Donuts. Like sometimes it just feels right, and also
I'm not better than Dunkin' Donuts.
The Dunkin' Donuts bacon, egg, and cheese was also a big. What would you say? I sustained on that for a while too. Just going to work and waking up late, not having anything to eat in the morning. So just
it's
having those a few times a week. Yeah.
So we have never met. We were kind of in each other's orbit in the sense that I played Robot Civil War on my radio show on WKQX a few years ago. Not Q101, it was WKQX. It's complicated, but the show was Demo 312, and I played Robot Civil War 4 years ago.
Ooh, God, it's been that long.
I know.
Oh, my Lord.
Uh-huh. It's been a hot minute. But Dyslexicon is your band. The first album came out 3 years ago
That's correct.
To a modest reception.
Modest reception. Friends said it was cool. That
was the first 5 years of this podcast, just so you know.
Yeah, it's cool. I think the biggest reception I got was with my mother when she heard the record, and she sent me a text message saying, "Oh, Daniel, I'm so sorry if I was a horrible mother."
Wow. Did you get some stuff off your chest regarding your upbringing?
No, honestly. I mean, I was just, being sad, talking about, it explored a lot of me kind of dwelling on my past, kind of, negative thoughts and feelings that I'd felt.
What are you feeling right now?
Oh, I feel great right
good.
now. Negative emotions. It dealt with a little bit of, dealing with struggles with my memory, feeling like I have a really shitty memory, but it kind of feels like it's getting worse and worse every year, and I'm sure that happens as you get older. But for me, it's just it feels like a special thing where things just like drop out and really struggling with like remembering words like on the dot. And so
the only thing I remember, I'm of an advanced age, Dan. The only things I remember at this point in my life are comic book superhero origin stories and album titles. That's it. That's all I have left.
I love that. I can share with you on the album titles front. Big activity of mine too was like just doing Wikipedia searches on like all the bands that I love, just getting into the minutia of like album cycles and getting into dumb arguments with some of my friends, just like, oh, no, this album was after this album and it had these members, and oh, this member left because he got into Scientology or something, and like that whole thing. That was that's how I educated myself.
Grab a donut.
Oh, sure, absolutely. Appreciate it. Thank you so much, James.
The hardest thing with this podcast is lining up restaurants. Mm-hmm. It's so much work. When I make my first $1 million on this show, I'm going to hire a producer, because booking restaurants, booking guests is the hardest thing I do, and it's really time consuming. So I figured let's grab a half dozen. You got a chocolate frosted there.
Oh, that does remind me. The boys from Lollygagger also say howdy.
I was just listening to Liars Club by Lollygagger.
Oh,
a few
very
days ago.
nice.
That Total Party Kill album.
Oh,
it's fucking great.
It's fucking great.
They're such a good band.
They are so good. They are such sweethearts. I'm currently sharing a practice space with them, and I just saw them before coming here, and I mentioned I was coming here, and they wanted me to give you a big old hey.
I love it. No, I think that is just such a great band, and I'm glad that you. That's the thing about the Chicago music scene. Everyone's in each other's orbit.
Yeah. They actually just their bass player played a show last night that was over at Empty Bottle, where it was Sprite, Babe Report, blanking on the third band unfortunately now, but they were even saying the same thing of like, yeah, it's just everybody's in each other's orbits.
And what's the lesson? Don't be a dick, because everyone knows each other.
Exactly. There's big words to live by. Don't be a dick.
No room to be a dick in Chicago.
100%.
Okay, so Dracula at Sea is the new one. It just came out this past Friday. You can stream it anywhere. Concept album?
In the very loosest sense.
Because there is like a Dracula at Sea suite on the album.
Yes.
It's 3 parts. It's like a Genesis song.
Yeah. That one, so like there is, throughout the album there is this, a story of, this unnamed narrator who's kind of, losing his shit. He's kind of he's putting himself into like self-isolation, kind of retreating from the world a little bit, a little bit of like the Wall-esque sorta-ness to it.
Sure.
But this is way more this is more like playing internally and getting more into like delusion and self-fantasy and all these people feeling like they've wronged him. And then that's kind of like from the jump, you kind of see this internal battle that this narrator's kind of having through the album, and then the Dracula at Sea suite is kind of like that final like kind of rebirth at the end, where it's kind of like him coming back around, but it's the album's like the whole process of it.
I love it, and the suite, the 3 songs, it's Ocean Floor Light, Lungs Exploding, and Surfacing. And Lungs Exploding, it's kind of like the corned beef in between 2 slices of rye.
Yeah.
Because the 2 ends are atmospheric, and they kind of provide the in and out of that part of the story.
Yeah, just giving a little bit of that. And then it kind of shows that musically, too, with having a little more of like this upbeat, almost like pop-punky sort of energy.
With Lungs Exploding.
Yeah, with Lungs Exploding, absolutely.
Which is great. Thinking about this loose narrative you created, the atmospherics you build into this album, this landscape. I love Emergency Interlude.
Yeah,
it's creepy and weird. It's like audio theater.
Yeah.
Explain what that is and how you put that together.
So I like putting together little sound collages as well, just kind of taking clips from like wherever I find it. One of the at this point, like I was kind of delving into like a bit of a nautical theme with the record, and I very much like to think of the record as like one whole continuous piece. So I just knew I needed to put.
So it's a concept album.
Yeah. So in a way, yeah. So I just needed to like put something to like help kind of take us from this very low point to kind of kick the energy back up again. And so I just started finding these like nautical videos. Like there was like this boatman training video for like when you're on large like docking ships and like all the emergencies you can like get into, and just these people kind of deadpan acting in it, just being, "Captain, come to the bridge, we have steering failure."
I love it.
You get little like psh, psh sound effects, and the captain kind of talking over it. It was hearing it was just like, oh, I can't not like use this for something, and kind of built it around there.
I'm getting this complete image of you as a mad scientist left to your own devices putting this album together.
Yeah, a little bit. Definitely driving me crazy at some points, for sure. This one's been a while in the making, for sure.
Was it one of those situations where you didn't quite know when it was finished and when to like put the pencil down and stop working?
There was. So I gave myself a deadline, and usually the deadline that works for me is if you have money at stake. So I had booked studio time through one of my friends who engineered and mixed the record, Greg Levis, shout out Slamlord. Him and I like have worked together putting together the first record, and so the second record we set the deadline of when it's gotta get done, when I need to start, and that's when like parts are finalized. So like when I started getting the sense that like it was all like coming together, it's like, okay, it's got to be done here, and then I just got to commit to everything, because it's all me at this point.
Yeah.
Like I recorded almost everything on the record playing it, so it's like I can't go back and have a past conversation with myself and be like, just can you play that tom part just differently? It's like, nah, you gotta have to commit. So a lot of that record is like written in very what would be the word to use here? Intentional. Every note, every drum hit is very intentional on the record.
Again, this lends itself to my mad scientist concept of how you put this together.
Yeah, it certainly isn't helping the case against it.
And I'm sure that the song "The Liar's Flat" is not about the creative process, but when I'm digging into it, I'm seeing things like, if all momentum goes, it'll never go on again. Now all I have is me to birth something.
Yeah. So that part kind of leads itself back into the narrator, and kind of a lot too that was happening with my writing was kind of writing about the antithesis of what I was experiencing at the same time. So I'm imagining the story of someone just completely locking themselves off and feeling like they need to be like self-sufficient, like I gotta do this, it's all on me, to birth, like, and having this hubris, like it's all on me, I gotta like birth what this thing, whatever this thing is, insert whatever passion project or self-deluge that you want to enter in there. And it's like having this thought, meanwhile, I'm very much on this record like starting to kind of embrace having just like people help me out on the outside. Like this Dyslexicon is like my solo project and my baby, but I've realized that doing it all on my own is not healthy. It's a lot of work, and people can really help to check you if you're like either going off on like a bad idea, or you're like writing a lyric and they're like, I don't know, is this what you intend to say? Because this is how I'm interpreting it. So very much so, like, it was almost kind of funny to me, like, writing words like that and being like, this is not how I feel at all about this, but I'm having fun kind of exploring, this idea of someone kind of closing themselves off so much, and putting themselves in this self-isolation. And then taking it that next step further was, well, what if they become a vampire? They become so obsessed by the thing that, they just start turning into a vampire.
Well, here's the good news. The album came out great. Again, it's Dracula at Sea.
Mm-hmm.
The video for The Liars Fled plays out like an existential crisis at sea, only the sea is Lake Michigan.
Yeah. Got it.
I'm worried that you were dressed too warmly. You were wearing flannel on what looked like a lovely summer day in Chicago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it came in handy when we had to reshoot some things in November. And then I was like, thank God I got this.
Well
I
played.
decided to wear this flannel with me.
So you've got like two gothy vampire girls, like straight out of
Yes.
1870,
Yeah.
following you around. Next thing we know, you've got fangs. You're converted.
Yeah.
It looks like it was fun to shoot.
It was absolute fun and an absolute joy to shoot. My fiance Amanda was the one who kind of helped come up with the concept for the video. I had like rough ideas for what I wanted to do with it, and I just knew that with this record I really did want to like I'm putting everything I got into this, all
Yes.
my creative energy into it. But man, when it came to like coming up with video ideas, I was just like, fuck, I got nothing good. And my fiance like heard the song and she was already like coming up with ideas for what she was seeing in the video.
I love it.
And like was read through the lyrics and like was coming up with a concept to help kind of reflect a lot of those lyrics and put together this like amazing concept for the video that I was like, holy shit, like you actually listen to my music and care about me. Wow, how crazy. And just having that vision for like having like shots in her mind and wanting to like kind of bring that to fruition.
It's super fun.
Yeah, it was I'm glad it comes through that we had a good time. And it was just a ragtag crew renting stuff from like just renting camera lenses from like local film stops, just having like a friend man the camera. The two goth ladies in the video were my friends Allie and Connor, who are very much into fashion. They're very much into what's called Gothic Lolita, which is like a J fashion sort of style. And they like help host events around the city. And their outfits are so perfect. It was like vampires. It kind of fit with the style that they were going for. So they were very gracious to star in the video and to be like, you want me to get like blood on my mouth, and I don't want it getting anywhere on this on my dress or anything. But no, they did a fantastic job. I'm really happy that they wanted to come out for our silly little video.
So as we're having our own little dinner party, which I feel bad, you're talking up a storm.
Yeah.
You're not enjoying the chocolate frosted donut I got from the artisanal coffee house down the street. Dinner party. One of the things I enjoy so much about your music, about this album, you do get heavy, but the through line, the red thread through this album, there's a sense of melody. That is perfectly true on Dinner Party. It's heavy, super melodic. That said, it doesn't sound like an awesome dinner was had, lyrically.
No, definitely not. Absolutely not. I always try to like keep like a big sense of melody at the center of a lot of what I write, and I do like just throwing in like big violent guitar work and metal influence and punk influence through it. But I do like having a sing along chorus every now and then. Yeah.
How about these lyrics? So enjoy the meal, hope hell is real, and when you die alone, you feel how I feel. That's it.
Those are strong words there.
Hope hell is real.
Hope hell is real. Just like this idea of wanting to get retribution, being in that like in a very vulnerable emotional state. The specific vision that I have in my head of this song is like, being around at a dinner table with like people that you really don't like. They're saying some real nasty stuff, and then you just kind of you're trying to like both like keep decorum, like keep peace, but in your head it's just you're just imagining all the worst things to like do to some of these people. And yeah, it gets pretty extreme there towards the end.
Well, yeah, I've been at dinner parties like this where the conversation makes you absolutely enraged.
Mm-hmm.
Your knife is outwards, as if to be subtle. I'd rather take it and rip you out of your fucking bubble.
Yeah.
This is good stuff.
Thank you.
This is good stuff.
Appreciate it.
Now, at the end of the album, I'm a fan of album sequencing, and obviously you had a vision for how to sequence this album. There's that acoustic lead-in on AC, which is a little bit of a pattern break from the rest of the album.
Yeah.
And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, the most Chicago lyric on the entire album is on that song. The AC finally works.
The AC does finally work, and we had to sweat it out for a while. Yeah, definitely had those moments of being in Chicago, especially at one of our the last apartment I lived in, where that shit was broken in the middle of July, and I also think about like this other apartment that I can remember with one of my roommates who had like a leather couch and just sticking to it. Like,
I can hear it. I can hear the sitting up in shorts.
Whoosh.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, you're sitting in your shorts in there, and it's like stuck in your legs. Yeah, just like
I know we all know that sound.
Absolutely. Stuff like that. But yeah, I don't remember where I heard it. I can't remember the quote. But there was something about, not leaving people on a downer, leave people on like a high note.
Yeah.
Leave them,
like
give them
spin
something,
everything forward. Yeah.
Give them something light to end on. Leave them happy,
I like it.
Mm-hmm.
It fits. So this has all been you.
Mm-hmm.
I mentioned that you're playing Beat Kitchen at the end of the month. It's the album release show. You're building out a 5-piece band for this.
Yes.
It seems like a lot of direction to give people with all these soundscapes you need to recreate on stage.
Yeah. Well, it helps that I'm kind of insane with arranging everything, so I do also like write out all the parts in like this program called MuseScore. It's a free arrangement software. I've used it, used it a little bit back in college, and then I also am in a ska band where we do, we got to do horn arrangements for everything. Yeah, and so I'd work on helping do arrangements for that, and then that kind of nicely led into using it for doing it for all my music. Because it's me playing everything, trying to communicate that to other people is definitely a challenge. As knowing when you've been, as you say, the mad scientist working on it, you've put all these parts like perfectly together to kind of segue into everything, and then teaching it to someone who has no idea what's going on and hasn't spent the time that you have perfectly crafting this thing. And they are kind of like, this is insane. So yeah, but I've come to kind of enjoy that part too when teaching people the new songs and having them kind of do their own interpretation of parts and the
live show will build on what you already created.
Exactly, and that's kind of the intention behind the live band too, is for it to kind of live on as like kind of a separate entity from the record. Take these songs that they have a little bit of like a thought of playing them live in my head, but taking that and translating it to a live experience and having other people live with these parts and kind of develop them and add their own flavor to it. So it's because cloning hasn't been invented yet, so I can't really bring the pure album experience to people.
Yeah, I've got to say, scientific advancements are many years away at this point. But Dyslexicon is playing Beat Kitchen. It is the album release show for the wonderful Dracula at Sea. The show is February 26th. It's a Saturday night?
Wednesday night.
So even better.
Yeah.
Best night for live music is Wednesday night.
Wednesday night, 8 p.m., 3 bands. You can get home in bed before 11.
I'm so glad we got to meet. I'm so glad I got to give you a donut. This worked out great. Thanks for doing this.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for having me, James. This was a real pleasure.